Welcome to Spirit Club, a podcast and community where we talk about what's really running the show, your inner world. I'm Angel, your host, your guide, and your spiritual bestie. Around here, we're all about doing the inner work because your outer reality is only ever a reflection of what's going on within. We practice radical ownership, freedom in faith, surrendering our path to God, and trusting our intuition like our lives depend on it. Because honestly, they do. So take a breath, open your heart, and let's dive in. Welcome back, Spirit Club. Today we have a guest episode with Melanie Smithson, a licensed somatic psychotherapist and award-winning author. We will talk about those books. Melanie is going to chat about how the body holds wounds from the past, and in order to effectively let go, we must work with the body. And I know all of us here in Spirit Club struggle to let go. I know that's a thing. So maybe this is the piece that we've been missing. So welcome, Melanie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah. And
And
if
is
I
that
could,
your...
go ahead.
Mhm.
I was going to say, if I could just jump in, you said we struggle to let go. And because we're, speaking with people that are aware of spirit and the practices, one of the things that I've been saying a lot of lately is that you cannot let go of that which you are.
Hmm.
The only things that we're ever letting go of are the things that are blocking awareness of spirit.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I know there are a lot of reasons we struggle to let go. And a lot of it is programming, some of it is we don't know how. But the idea that it's not safe to let go is based in nothing. Because the
Mm.
more that we let go of that which we are not, the more aligned we are with that which we are.
Right. The true essence. So if I'm understanding correctly, what you're saying is sometimes we're fearful to let go because we think we'll be losing who we are, but who we truly are, we cannot lose.
Right.
Oh, wow. Powerful way to start the episode. No ice breaking here. Okay.
No, we don't have
Amazing.
time for ice breaking right now in this world, as far as I'm concerned.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
I am still gonna scroll back a little just to
Okay.
get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know if you know these things. Do you happen to know your sun, moon, rising, and astrology? Any of that?
I have in the past. Definitely Sun is Virgo. Um,
Virgo. Okay.
and I do know that my planets are all over the place, kind of well balanced, that there's a couple in each house. Um,
Oh yeah.
I want to say my moon is in Sagittarius and rising sign Libra, but I could be wrong.
Okay. 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 Well, we'll stick with Virgo, the one that you know.
Yeah.
Um, what Virgo qualities do you resonate with?
Um, Not most of them, to be honest. There are some organization and having things in their place. I love doing puzzles. So those things, it's like, I want things to line up. I want things to make sense. I actually used to be an accountant, and I loved
Mm,
that because one thing about numbers and accounting is the debits equal the credits versus the
yeah.
spiritual world that we're in, where it's like, you know, I things don't always land as well as but that said, I also feel like I've been dancing since I was 4, so I'm more loosey-goosey
Mm-hmm.
um, than what people think of as Virgos.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I'm sure the rest of your chart like supports that in you, but perhaps it's that more like grounded, the grounded part of you lives in the Virgo, maybe.
Yeah, and that's a good point because one of the things my husband also does crazy energy medicine, and that's just the easiest way to say it. And we used to do metaphysical fairs, and we would say that we were the grounded ones in the woo-woo world.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh my gosh, that's fascinating about your husband. I don't want to sidetrack too much, but can you just tell me what do you mean by crazy metaphysical? whatever you
Yeah,
said.
well, his work started out in acupuncture, but then expanded into a lot of alternative energy medicines. So he works with the body's innate ability to heal, mostly through muscle
Mm,
testing and response. And it's
okay.
really pretty amazing when you give the body messages. The body knows how to heal. It just gets off track and askew, and he helps them get back on track. So a lot of issues, including thyroid and autoimmune, he's doing a lot of work with long-term COVID these days, respond to energy, whereas they don't respond to pills often.
Mm, fascinating. And what a nice, like complementary work for
Yes.
the two of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
we refer back and forth a lot. And when we first started working, we went to school at the same time, and he'd come home from school and complain about something, and I'd want to do some therapy with him. I'd come home and he'd want to put some needles in me or some herbs, and then we would tell clients, Gail works on the physical, I work on the emotional. But over the years, it's like there is no separation. So whether
Mm,
you start with the physical, the emotional is going to come up. If you work on the emotional, the physical is going to start to move. So
mhm.
we let people choose. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, isn't it so true? It's
Yeah.
so true. You can't really do one without the other. It's all a both and.
Yes, and it's
Um,
ridiculous that we try and separate them.
yeah, I feel like we're starting to blur those lines. We're starting to allow that to be acceptable, at least.
Yes.
Um, okay, and then my other icebreaking question is this podcast is really about doing the inner work, addressing your inner world in order to make changes in your life. And so I would love to hear from you, Melanie. What inner work, spiritual work is alive and relevant in your life right now?
Mhm. Well, my life has always, well, not always, but since my 20s, so over 40 years now, I started, and I saw that you also do Course in Miracles. When I was 25, I found the Course in Miracles.
Amazing.
So that's been present for a very long time. Um, the fact that I get to be a therapist is in and of itself a practice of doing inner work. And as the course teaches us, that what you teach moves through you. So
Mm,
my inner work is happening while I'm working with others, but I also have my practices. I meditate. Writing for me is such an amazing practice. Dancing is everything. Without movement, I would refuse to be here. Um,
wow.
so movement is, and that's actually where my book came, was through my movement practice. But right now, in my whole life, I have never felt the urgency for myself, what to say of the world, to do my inner work.
Mm,
With what's happening in the United States, with the atrocities that we're witnessing every day,
mhm.
there's just a lot of feelings that are arising. So there's that practice is constant.
Yeah, and like blessed that you have these beautiful tools. I mean, Course in Miracles, I couldn't think of a better tool for us all to have with everything that's going on. Um, and I really am excited to learn more about your movement tools because I feel that that's, at least in my fishbowl, that's a gap. That's a gap that
Yeah.
I'm seeing for
And
sure.
it's interesting because, the Course in Miracles does repeatedly say, I'm not a body, I am free, which I do
Mm,
not disagree with. But often that gets interpreted as ignoring the body. And that, I think, is a huge gap for a lot of people
mm,
engaging in spiritual practices, because this is the vehicle that we are in. And this is, the course does say it's a communication device. So, how do we use it for our own, communication? How do we connect deeper with spirit through the body? And how do we connect deeper with others using the body as that vehicle? And,
mm.
I've contemplated, and this may happen, probably not this year, but a book on getting into the body while using A Course in Miracles. And that won't be the title, but something like that. And I think
Yeah.
I'm going to get some kickback from the Course in Miracles community, but I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, no, I would really love that. And I do feel when you get to the lessons around that it, the thing with the Course in Miracles is that, or a thing with any text, is it does lie in the interpretation of the person reading it.
Yes.
And so people are going to interpret it the way they're going to interpret it.
Yes.
But there's, of course, going to be a group that, that we struggle with, I am not a body. And okay, if I'm not a body, then how do I keep going in this body?
Yeah. And I actually think the more that we recognize that we're not a body, the more willing we are to become embodied.
Mm. Ah, because there's less attachment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes, I can let this vehicle move and do what it does, let its sequence, be with it, listen to its wisdom without being attached and identified.
Mm-hmm. Right. Without trying to control it into something.
Right.
Yes. Uh-huh. Well, I look forward to this book. This will be right up my alley. Um, okay, you've mentioned a few times, and so I need to know how you got into this work. Sounds like dance was a big piece, and I grew up a dancer as well, and I didn't know that when I had you come onto the podcast. So I would love to hear what got you into somatic psychotherapy.
Yeah. I'll give you the abbreviated version.
Of course.
I was an accountant. I was a CPA because that's what you do. You do what there is to do in this world. And like I said, I like accounting. I like numbers. But there was a dance class that I wanted to be taking in the middle of the day. It was the more advanced class. The beginner classes were in the evening. And I found myself sitting at my desk going, I don't want to be here. I want to be dancing. I don't want to be here. I want to be dancing. And this mantra was going on for some time till I finally quit my accounting job, started managing a dance studio for $50 a week and all the dance classes I could take in New York City.
In New
Not
York City. Oh my gosh, I just got goosebumps. Okay, that's
so
huge.
not ultimately sustainable, but I through a lot of, zigzags, I wound up moving to Santa Fe, I just felt called here. And then I did a movement workshop, an authentic movement workshop with Raina Halpern, I believe it was. I hope I have her name right. And in that workshop, they're just, through the movement, I felt like I started getting more in touch with my purpose, with my work. And I hate to call it purpose because everybody is always looking for purpose. And purpose is love and vibration for all of us. But the vehicle for me was through movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned of Naropa. And to be honest with you, I had no idea that I was going to be trained as a psychotherapist, even though that's what the training was. Um, I had an idea that I was going to be doing large dance workshops and having the psychotherapy training would be a good idea. And so 30 years later, and my psychotherapy work has always involved the body because we hold trauma in the body. And if you don't sequence through the body, you're just doing a lot of talking. Um, that's minimizing, and I don't really mean to do that, but work is much more powerful when it moves through the body. But just in the last few years, I have really come back into the power of movement in a way that hasn't been as present for me as as it is now. And what happened is just about 2 years ago, I regularly dance on Sundays with Chloe Goodwin here in Santa Fe. A little plug for Chloe and Five Rhythms, which is a phenomenal practice. And as I'm dancing Sunday mornings, as I'm moving, I'm starting to see all these different ways to let go through the body. And I just started writing notes. We could let go by pushing, we could let go by pulling, we could let go by shifting our posture, we could let go by circling our bodies. And every Sunday, I'm like jotting these notes. And then I would go and write about one of those ways of letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how this book came to form. So it's been a journey. And there have been so many places along the lines where it was so clear that I was not in charge. I mean, this book in particular feels like a gift. It feels like it was given to me that and and I've also been told that it was given to me because of the work I do, because of who I am. So I'm not taking credit, but it wasn't all me, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like this book was a joint venture.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it feels
and
channeled, and I'm curious, were you having to work through letting go certain things as you were building the book?
always, always. And this is the thing, I think people sometimes get confused when I initially was talking about writing a book about letting go. People would say, "Oh yeah, last year I had to let go of somebody." And it's like, no, we let go of a million things every single day. We let
Hmm.
go of the breath in every moment. We let go of the upset about the dog. We let go of wanting something to be this way or that way. It's like it's constant. So for me, letting go is a way of life. It's not like, oh, I have to let go because somebody died, or I have to let go because I broke up, because I didn't get this or I didn't get that. Every single day. And as I said, more now with what's happening in the United States, I'm constantly moving through grief. I'm moving through anxiety. I'm moving through angst. It's like it's all here all the time, asking
Mm-hmm.
to be let go of. So
Mm-hmm.
when I dance, sometimes I'll say a little prayer as I begin, my practice, or I'll ask a question because I find that, helps. But often it's just like, help me let go of all that is in the way of love. Because ultimately, that's all I want. Help me be that which I am.
Yeah, that is the most ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it brings me to what you're saying. I've not thought about these sort of like micro let goes until now. Um, but it brings me to the saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yes.
And certainly we can all think of a bigger let go that's more difficult, letting go of someone, letting go of a dream, letting go of whatever.
Yeah.
Those are like the ones that we point to, but if we're able to let go in these smaller ways every day, then the big L let goes presumably would move move more naturally.
Yes. And as you said earlier, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And coming back to that, when I'm working with a therapy client that's like, well, I don't know how to do this,
Mhm.
start small. Whether it's
Mhm.
letting go, whether it's speaking up, whether it's arranging your closet, take one little step. And one little step, and this is actually one of the practices in the book, especially when we're feeling apathetic, when you feel like, oh, I can't do shit. I don't know if you ever feel that way, but I feel that way.
You bet. Yeah.
One of the ways that I move through that is I ask myself, what can you do? And
Mm.
sometimes what I can do is move from this position, lying back, to sitting up. And that's it. It's like, but even that signals the body that you can do something.
Right. It's like
And
a
when we
step.
use, we often use the word stuck. I feel stuck. And just notice, just noticing where you're not stuck. Oh, I can move my wrist. I can shake my head. My head's not stuck. Huh.
Hmm.
Even those little interventions start to shift what we're saying to ourselves, which is everything.
Hmm. And then we're embodying it because, most of the time this is all happening in the mind, maybe in the emotions, but it's not, actual changes aren't happening in our lives
Right. I mean,
until
so,
we move them through the
so
body.
much of
Yeah.
our suffering is here in our heads.
You bet. Yeah.
We wake up in the morning and blah 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 blah, and I'll just throw out, since I don't know if you hear my dog barking in the background, but I have a very vocal dog, and
Mhm.
she not only barks and cries, when she wants something. She is phenomenal at just voicing everything. She grumbles and she purrs like a cat. And when, it's like, and if she's not getting, what she wants, something in the morning, she gets in bed and she wants me to pet her. She wants my husband to rub on her. If she's not getting it, she's like, and so this morning, while my head was racing, I just started making the sounds that Kira was making and going, and it's so good because especially if we're in fear or we're complaining, when we're doing that, we're reinforcing it. We're telling ourselves the world is
Mhm,
scary, I'm not
mhm,
safe. And when we start doing the sounding, and for me, it helps to mimic Kira of like, "Arr," that moves it rather than staying
mhm,
stuck in it.
mhm.
So one of the
So
practices in the book is grumble, growl, and release.
I can definitely see how like letting out a big growl would
Yeah.
feel really good. You know?
Yes.
And when you think about it, like when you're a kid and you have you're less concerned about how people perceive you. Actually, you're not concerned about it at all. You do grumble, growl, scream, let it out, you know? Um, so do you think so there are so many different ways that we can access healing, of course. And the way that we're talking about today is through the body.
Yes.
And I'm curious, do you think that it needs to be understood in the mind at all, or can you just surpass the mind and go directly to the body?
Go directly to the body.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely go directly to the body. The mind is good at a lot of things. The mind is good at figuring things out. The mind is good at compartmentalizing. The mind is good at putting things in place for us. The mind wants to do the same things with our emotional stuff. And as soon as we try and figure out what's going on with us emotionally, we're actually
Hmm.
caught in a loop. The more we try and figure out what the problem is, what's wrong with our system, the more energy we're giving it. So we start spiraling deeper into it. If we can bypass the mind to begin with, when we start moving, when I start noticing sensation. So if I have labeled something sadness or anger or anxiety, if I can take the label off, then I can move with what's present. As I move with what's present, the mind may join with some information that's useful. So the mind can be a good um, supporter, but putting it in charge when it comes to the psyche is not a good idea. And going back to the Course in Miracles, this is a lesson that I have really been leaning into lately. I am never upset for the reason I think. And if that's true, then all the thinking we do about what we're upset about is useless.
Mm,
And what happens when we think, well, I'm upset because so and so did this, then we're going to try and think our way out of it. But we're
mhm.
probably wrong about what we're upset about in the first place. The body doesn't care. The body
Right.
just knows it's amiss, something is wrong. And when we give it permission to lead, it's going to show us what wants to release, what wants to let go, and how to do that. So one of the things that I do, I'll just finish this one sentence. A lot of people come to me with anxiety, always have 30 years of practice, maybe more so now. But when I ask them to stop, to take the label of anxiety off and tell me what's actually happening in sensation, they'll tell
Mhm.
me, well, my heart is racing, my breath feels short, I feel tight. And I ask them to just let that happen without resisting it.
Right.
Almost always, it's gone.
Mm. Right. Okay. That's amazing. I was going to ask for a specific example and you gave one. And
Yeah.
to me, I mean, to me, it sounds a little bit like, sometimes with myself or with my clients, we will just like focus on feeling the feeling.
Yes.
And when I listen to what you just described, I'm like, oh, that's more like what we're doing is actually like observe.
it's feeling the feeling, but it's not allowing a story to play with it. It's just allowing the feeling to be.
Right.
And as you said, as always, it transitions to something
Right.
else.
And I do just want to name, a lot of people, when you ask them to feel the feeling, they're like, what are you talking about? I feel
Totally.
sad. Or I say,
Yeah.
well, no, if you took the label sad off, what do what do you notice? And they say,
Hmm.
oh, well, I feel confused. And it's like, no, that's another label. What's
Hmm.
here in sensation? That's
Hmm.
how we feel a feeling. Because every
Hmm.
feeling, and again, one of the things I'm really quite excited about with my book is people are telling me that they've been in therapy for years and their therapists are asking them, what do you feel in your body? And they don't know how to answer. But they're reading my book and they're playing with the practices and they're getting in touch with what's happening in the body because learning to listen to the body is something we were never taught.
Right. Absolutely.
And so it's that too is how do I do that? How do I feel what I'm feeling? How do I listen? How do I notice? That's
Hmm.
a whole new education, which I think if we taught that in second and third grade, we'd be living in a different world.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So many things that we could learn in second and third grade other than what we did
What
learn.
we didn't learn in kindergarten.
Um, I'm thinking about a particular client who struggles a lot with letting go of something that happened, a wound, a story. And we've done reprogramming work, we've done addressing the limiting beliefs, all that sort of thing. But we are at a standstill. And as I listen to you, I'm thinking, what a perfect candidate to just because the mind, it does not want to let go. It does not want to let go. So
No.
what a perfect candidate to okay, you know what? We'll just not involve the mind at all and we'll move
Yeah.
into the body.
Yeah. And what I would do with somebody that's been stuck like that, and in fact, I do this frequently with new clients, is don't let go. Give yourself permission to hold on as tight as you possibly can.
Mm.
And what do you notice in the body when you're holding on really tight?
Hmm.
Because what happens, what we don't recognize, is when we're holding on really tight, we're actually not feeling safe. We're feeling fearful. Often we're
Right.
holding on tight because we're afraid to let go. But when we really pay attention to what's happening when we're holding on tight, it's like, well, that's not really what I want.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then also addressing, well, what do you think is going to happen if you let go? What are you
And
most
what
afraid is going to happen if you let go?
and what could that feel like in the body?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And people say, well, if I let go, I'm going to not protect myself. Oh, okay. Is that true? So again, a lot of the stories the mind tells, if we check in with the body, we find it's not true.
Mm. Mm. Exciting. Okay, so let's talk about this concept of letting go with the body, letting go of blocks or limiting beliefs, because that's a big part of the work that we do here, Spirit
Mhm,
Club. We always are addressing what are the blocks,
mhm,
that what's standing in between you and what you say you want.
uh-huh.
And do you ever address it in this way in your practice or in your book
In terms of beliefs,
in terms of beliefs? Yes.
well, let me just open to the section in the book on beliefs, huh?
Love it. Let's do it.
So, couple of things. One, as I'm pulling this open, um, actually, I think I'm going to just read a little bit for you. Beliefs are not facts. Page 35 in the book is where I'm going. So, um, so one of the things that we get confused about is we think that our beliefs are facts. And we
Right.
just we think they're solid. And
Hmm.
yet we all have the experience of having believed something once upon a time that we don't any believe any longer. And we
Right.
also recognize that I believe something, you believe something else, and all of that. So the first thing is to actually just start to break the identification, to recognize that just because I believe it now doesn't mean it's true. So that, just recognizing, okay. Also recognizing that sometimes we take on beliefs in order to get something. So
Right.
if I believe the same thing you believe, that's going to give us a sense of connection. Or if I
Mm.
believe what my mother believed, that will keep me loyal to her. If I believe what I was taught, or if I stop believing what I was taught, that's being disloyal. So actually, exploring what about the belief is keeping us holding on to it is a first place. But okay, so one of the practices that I really like is to recognize your posture. So when you say, I believe I'm a piece of shit, let's just go there. I believe I'm not worthy. I believe I don't deserve. What's the posture that goes with that? And
Mm.
the posture is going to be something that is contracted, is pulled in, is head down. I'm not good enough. And then just playing with shifting the posture and seeing if I sit up here, how does that shift the belief? And I'll tell you, I've been noticing this myself that when we walk the dog in the morning, I'm often walking with my head down. And some of it is important because we walk in the arroyo and there are a lot of rocks, but some of it, there's some smooth areas. And walking with your head down actually reinforces depression, negative feelings, and just lifting your head. So I've been
Mm.
actively just pick your head up, pick your head up.
Yeah, yeah.
So playing with posture. Um, Another thing I like to do is to play, especially when thoughts feel stuck, is to one, bounce them, and we can actually literally bounce the body because it's really hard to hold on to a thought when you're bouncing your body. It's just like, what was
Oh,
I
yeah.
thinking? Also, swirling the thoughts works in the same way. So, one fun way to play with thoughts, and then, yeah, and I'll put this one in, is to recognize again, we'll just stay with the same thought. If the thought is, I'm not good enough, notice which way that feels like it's swirling in the body. Is it going clockwise or counterclockwise? And then switch it up, just go the other way. What
Switch it up
happens?
with your body.
Or in your mind.
Okay.
You can literally change the way you're moving the
Mm.
body, or you can just imagine the thoughts going the other way.
Fascinating.
And then another practice I've been doing for a lot of years is putting the thoughts to a song and using easy songs. Like one I like is The Wheels on the Bus. So that one's so easy. And I've played with that, like when you're wanting more money, because that's another whole story. Wanting creates lack.
Mm.
But we created the song, The Money in the Bank Goes Up, 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 up. And that one is like, and the thoughts in my head go round and round. So
Yeah, yeah.
anything to music, it actually creates a more ease in letting go.
Right. And also, like music, song is really something that's kind of addressing the subconscious more. Same way we're
Yeah.
like humming a tune without knowing it. I love this. These are some juicy tips.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like we take ourselves so seriously.
Mm.
And that's another thing that keeps us more attached and more identified with that which we're not. So again, just kind of noticing one of the things, again, one of my practices these days is to notice, wow, Melanie's really stuck on that. Melanie's really pissed about what's happening in the world. And that does two things. It, reminds me that I am so much more than this body, mine. And it also validates that that which is appearing as Melanie right now in this lifetime is suffering. She's struggling. And I can
Mm.
have some compassion for her
Mm.
as
Mm-hmm.
I know that I am more than that. So
Mm-hmm.
this is, it's funny, this is the dance. And, I think sometimes in spiritual practices, we don't do the dance. We go out and I'm just going to hang out in spirit with spirit. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful place to live, but most of us still have to live our lives. So
Right.
how do we do both? How do we move in and out of the body and connect to spirit simultaneously?
Right. It's like a constant coming back to spirit,
Right.
coming back to human, coming.
Right. 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 And it's, as I was writing this book, I didn't really know. I mean, I wasn't thinking about why am I writing this book? Who needs this book? It's just like this is what was coming. And it's like I'm writing this book because it's being given to me. And
Beautiful.
lately, I'm really feeling one of the words Chloe used in class the other day that just struck a chord was the word metabolize.
Mm.
And there was this like internal, yes, I need to metabolize. I need to metabolize all that my body, all that my mind is hearing and seeing right now so that I can process it, so that I can come back to strength, so that I can navigate this craziness. And so my book teaches people how to metabolize everything. And it's
Right.
like, well, maybe that's why the book needed to come in the way that it did, because we need to metabolize.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I was listening to your tips and your dog walk and just sort of like what you noticed. And it's funny because just lately I've been doing not knowing, not, I didn't have the words to put to it or anyone tell me to do it, but I also walk my dog every day.
Mhm.
And right now I'm really working at expanding myself, making myself feel more comfortable being seen in a bigger way, getting more comfortable in my voice.
Yeah.
And there's this one part of the walk that feels a little bit more exposed. And at one point, I decided, okay, every day that you walk this walk, you're going to just walk this one length of the walk in the body of the person that you're becoming, like of where you're headed, not
Beautiful.
the turned in hiding, but
Right.
the I'm here, I'm seen. And so I just, it's like 30
Yeah.
seconds,
Yeah.
but
I love it. I love it.
and it's, yeah, listening to, I didn't really realize what I was
Yeah.
doing until I
Yeah.
listened to what you
Yeah.
shared.
Yeah.
Um, but and I mean this, I do a lot of work on limiting beliefs and blocks and all that sort of thing. And it is huge. It's been a huge part of my life and I will never lose it.
Yeah.
Um, but working with the body, it sometimes feels easier.
Mhm.
It
It
feels like,
is. It absolutely
yeah,
is. It's like the
I hate
body
to say
won't
it, but like,
argue with you. The body says you want to open your
right,
arms, go ahead, open your arms. Mine
right.
says let go, and then you'll argue.
Yeah,
Yes.
wild. I mean, there
Yes.
is resistance in the body, right? Like there is some I can feel the resistance that's like, no, no, I'm
Yes.
tired. Just walk with your head down, but maybe that's just the mind. I don't know.
Right. And that's what there is to check. Is it the body resisting or is it the mind resisting, But I
Right.
would also tell you that with that particular experience, of hiding, of not being seen, I would, and I do this again, therapy 101, meet the client where they're at. So I would go ahead and hide. I'd go hide in the closet or behind the door and then let yourself just start peeking out. And peeking out a little bit more. And, oh, here I am, peekaboo, peekaboo. And I actually played with this with somebody recently around shame, because shame, again, similar energy of hiding. And and this practice is not in the book, maybe it's version 2, round 2, but the practice of just kind of like, okay, so hiding like the turtle. And could I stick my head out, could I stick my head out a little bit more, and then go back in when it doesn't feel safe. And you keep meeting yourself where you're at, so you don't push past what feels safe, you go right up to the edge. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you get comfortable at the edge, then you create a new edge.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's expansion right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are some of your daily, like, okay, you said, I wish in, you know, grade school they would teach us how to listen and talk to our bodies. What are some practices that people can maybe start that are small for folks who, there are
Yeah.
a lot of us who are unable to really feel or describe what's going on in the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah, I have a couple things, and I will tell, well, obviously the book is full of ideas, but the first book is also 30 Stress Free in 30 Seconds, which has a lot of 30-second practices. So I'll go through a couple of those things. So one, especially if you're sitting at a computer all day, it's a really good idea to take a break once an hour. And, some people say, oh, every 3 hours I take a break. It's not enough. My body, if I go to 90 minutes, my body starts screaming at me to move.
Mhm.
But for those that don't have that relationship, I would set a timer for, once every 60 minutes. And when the timer goes off, if you only have 30 seconds, there are so many things you could do in 30 seconds. One, you could just take a breath and check in and go, what's happening? Oh, I feel rushed. Oh, I feel uncomfortable. Okay. And just validating what you're feeling in the moment is a great practice. So that's one idea. Second idea, breathe. So you had us before we got on, before we went live or recorded, we were breathing in and we were breathing out. I would add to that focus on the inhale, the exhale, and the pause between the inhale and the exhale. As you do that, there's a balancing that happens in, out. And you can do that twice in 30 seconds, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, 5 seconds pause. You
Mm.
can get up off your seat and shake your body for 30 seconds. Put on some music. Another practice that's in my book, and I love this one, and I did this so many times when I was reading and editing and reading and editing. I have a rotating chair, so swiveling in the chair,
Oh, yeah.
just get some movement and some breath happening.
Mm.
Smell something, because again,
Mm.
waking up your senses. So if you've got coffee on your desk, if you've got flowers on your desk, that smell the roses can be translated. I used to keep wind up toys on my desk when I worked in a nursing home because I needed to remind myself to laugh. And the ones that made me laugh were the ones that did backflips. So any of these practices can be done in such a short amount of time. And then in terms of starting to tune in, just taking a breath and noticing. So typically, we'll notice the stomach, maybe we'll notice the neck, but maybe I start to pay a little more attention to my knees. Maybe I pay a little more attention to my thighs. Maybe my lower back wants some attention.
Mm.
I got one more. It's funny. Once I get going, it's like they just keep coming.
They just flow in, keep them coming. Yeah.
But one of the bonus practices um, is to notice that typically the way those that do self-care, and when we do self-care, it's usually what the mind is thinking. Oh, I need a walk. Oh, I need some food. Oh, I need a rest. But what if we let the stomach decide what the self-care was going to be? What if one day we let the knees decide on the self-care practice? What if we let the hips decide on the self-care practice? And
Mm.
each part of the body gets to do or say something different. So
Amazing.
I could keep talking. I
I
won't.
know, like I'm listening and I'm checking in with my body at the same time, and I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, ankles. Ankles, what would you like?
What do my ankles want?
And it made me think like there's also, so there's the listening, there's the hearing, there's the sensing, and then there's the next step of like following.
Yes.
And I feel like this step builds so much. It builds so much trust in yourself, in you and your body to be like, okay, I hear you and I'm going to give to you
Yes.
what it is that you need. And the more you
Yes.
do that, the more your body is just going to openly communicate. It doesn't have to be this huge
Right. You
mystery.
have validated that you're listening. Oh, I
Mm.
have an audience, you know?
Yeah, right.
And also what you just said, it's like when I just start to tune into the ankles. So again, this is like start where I am, then the ankles will say, this is what they want. They'll tell you how they want to move.
Mhm.
And so, all movement is good movement. I'm not going to argue with any movement. But when you get conscious to the movement, then you're going to a new place.
Right. Amazing. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Just checking in if there's anything residual left over. Oh, I know. Your clients, you work one-on-one with clients or groups, something like this?
Yes, I do both. I'm currently, I've been running a 10 or 11-month group, depending on the year. It's 11-month group this year on spirituality and practice. This year, the group is called Embodied Spirituality. Um, and
Perfect.
I am so happy. I'm so thrilled that I get to do group work because I think community is more important than ever now. But I
Mm.
also do work individually. And besides all of this work, I also do past life and life between life hypnotherapy.
Oh
Um,
my goodness. Wow, whole other
whole other,
branch.
yeah. And if we want to have another conversation about that, that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
that will be a separate conversation.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but
all the work
what I was
blends.
wondering was, like, what are some of the, if you were to say, like, the top three benefits or results that you've seen people have from working through and with the body first, what would you say they are? I know it's a tough one.
It is a tough one. Well, I think I'm going to go back to the anxiety. That's a
Mm.
big one, is when you get more in touch with sensation, you're more able to manage your feelings. You're not run by them anymore. It's actually a resource. So I don't know, that might be the only benefit. I mean, I'm
Wow.
not totally accurate. So even I'm laughing. So what I bring to therapy, and I think this also influences, is this sense of lightness where, the
Mm-hmm.
recognition that don't take yourself and don't take your problems so seriously. So when we can, kind of laugh at what is happening, what we're experiencing, it just makes it easier to navigate life. And I think ultimately that's what I'm looking for is like, whether it's through the body, whether it's through laughter, whether it's through spiritual practices, how do we manage this life on earth that can be challenging?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So more than anything, what I what I'm committed to is making the journey through life easier and having more fun with it. Because
Yeah.
nobody knows why we're really here, so we might as well have some fun.
Yeah. We'll never know. No, never know. I like if there are so many nuggets from today that will stick with me, but this one about not taking ourselves so seriously just
Yeah,
feels like one that I'm meant to hear right now. And like it's it's such a gift. It seems so light, but it's such a deep gift when you can be more playful, be more light about things. I think about my partner and I would say, like, one of the things that we've gotten really good at is like making jokes about the things that might frustrate us about one another,
it's wonderful.
but like making it light, like not like a
Yes.
passive aggressive joke, but like
Yeah.
actual jokes where we
Yeah.
laugh about it. And then it
Right.
no longer becomes this like seed that grows and festers and it's just
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Well, you'll like to hear this. There's a book by somebody in Boulder. I don't remember the name of the book. Um, I think Markman. Markman is his name, but he studied relationships and couples and longevity. And the couples that stayed together the longest were the couples that played together the most.
Uh,
So,
Harville Hendrix, was it? Or
no,
Hendrix?
no, not Harville. I love Harville Hendrix. But this guy's name, Howard Markman is his name.
Okay.
Um, but just like recognizing that play is a healing modality. It brings us into
Mhm.
the present moment. It allows us options. It invites creativity. And all of those things are so critically important for shift. And they support longevity in relationship.
Right. And I can see the connection to like between play and the body too, like because you are so present when you play, then
Yes.
you can be more present to sensations, to yeah. I can't
Yes.
quite put my finger on it, but I feel that there's a link there.
Well, the more you're willing to play with movement, when you even like, let's just say we're going to focus on my wrist. If I and by the way, we've done this practice where we just kind of explore the wrist and go, oh, what could this do, and wonder about it. That will bring you into presence.
Yeah.
But if you're going to get too serious about it, you're going to try and figure out how it should move. If
Mm-hmm.
you just go, oh, I wonder what would happen if I did this. I wonder what would happen if I did that. If you can do that with all the body, you let it do what it knows how to naturally do without telling it what to do. So
Mm-hmm.
play is absolutely embedded in all of the practices. And the other thing about play is you can do, well, I was just playing. So you don't have to worry. Just playing.
It's no big deal. I'm just playing.
No big deal.
Gosh, I feel like we've lost so much connection to play as adults. I'm happy to hear that you are bringing it back.
Well, my thesis was on reclaiming an adult relationship to play. So
Aha.
this has been part of my work for a long time. And I mean, this morning, I pull angel cards myself every morning. And my first card that I pulled today was creativity. And I was like, oh, thank you. I forgot. It's like
Mm,
creativity is that which we are. We are nothing but creative. And engaging in a creative act of any sort reminds us of our essence.
mm,
So when we're feeling down, when we're feeling disconnected, when we're feeling separated, when we're feeling not good enough, doing anything creative. I mean, my outlet is movement, but if your outlet is art, if your outlet is music, do that because creativity is essence.
mm. I love it. I love creativity. I never thought about creativity or creating until the more and more I connected to source and the more and more I aligned my life with God's plan, the
Yeah,
more I'm like, all I want to do is create. I don't even know what, Melanie. I don't care.
doesn't matter.
It just, it feels really good. And it is very similar
Look, I
to
made a
play.
cupcake today.
Yes. Yes, totally. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this has been a really beautiful and so many resources in this conversation. Could you name the book? I don't think we've actually done that. I know it's behind you, but
It's also in front of me. Shake Yourself Free, 81 Somatic Practices to Let Go of Limitation.
amazing. You guys heard it here. We often are doing the work. We're doing the mindset work. We're doing the subconscious reprogramming. We're doing taking action in life. This is one piece that we don't do enough of here at Spirit Club. So I hope that you guys check this out. And Melanie, if there's just one last thing you want to leave this audience with, what would it be?
I want to go back to just don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
This life will come and go. There have been a lot of lifetimes before that we were miserable. We can't even remember them now. So
Yeah.
laugh more, stress
Yeah.
less, move
Yeah.
more, stress less.
Don't take yourself or life so seriously. You heard it here, and I'm taking that one with me. That's a good one. Okay, well, thank you so much. It was really great to meet you from across the world.
Yes, you as
And
well.
I'm grateful because I got a Kindle for the first. I'm a big paper like hard copy book girl.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
me too.
I'm a Taurus. I
Yeah,
like my books,
yeah,
but I moved across the world. Okay,
I-
and
it's harder.
moving some books across the world was expensive.
Yeah,
Um, and then now trying to get books,
yeah,
especially ones that are not like a very famous fiction, is very hard to get an English one because I'm in Greece.
Yeah.
And so I finally got a Kindle because in the
And the
end,
book is on Kindle Unlimited.
that's what I was going to say. I was like, so I can get your book on Kindle, and I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to really help me as I try to embody where I'm headed. So thank you. Thank you, Melanie.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Spirit Club, until next time. Bye.